Hello, welcome to Biology 213 Majors Plant Biology. My name is Alicia Mbuja. Feel free to call me Alicia. And this video is about getting used to what our course is looking like, how it's designed, and the assignments that you have to do for this quarter. So first of all, when you first log in, your first page is this page here to give you some instructions about our course and when it starts. So it starts Monday, September 21st. The first assignments that you have are due on Tuesday. All of your assignments for the entire quarter are due on Tuesdays at 11:59 p.m. So I know this is a very quick start. Usually students start out quarters feeling ready to go and ready to get into the content, and so that's kind of how I start off my courses. And then by the end of the quarter, we kind of trickle off a little bit as far as the workload goes. So stay with me right at the beginning here. Don't get discouraged. You're going to do fine. We have your first assignments due on Tuesday. The 22nd by 11:59 p.m. The way this course is organized is it's asynchronous, meaning that you don't have to log in at any specific time or day, but you do have due dates. Like I said, Tuesday nights, you'll have about 3 things due every single Tuesday night. So that's going to be very important for you to remember that that's your Biology 213 due date time. However, you may have to do these things in more than just one day time period. So it is intended to be a week-long course where you're working on it throughout the week, and it's just that on Tuesday nights is when it's due. You can turn things in early if you like. All the lecture part is online. All the lab part is online. So it's still a lab class. And your labs are going to be using the outdoors, using household household materials, and some online interactive information too. You are not required to get the textbook. You can if you want to. If you're a person who likes to read details and kind of have full complete paragraphs about information, then feel free to get the textbook. All of my lectures and all of the information that's in this course are supported in the Science of Biology textbook. It's also the same if you take my cellular biology class or Mr. Dayton's cellular biology class. We both use this same textbook for Biology 211. You will need a composition book, sketchbook, lab journal, something like that, of about 80 pages or so to put some of your lab drawings and information in. That will be something that you'll take pictures of and upload those pictures, or take a video of you showing me what you've done and uploading the video. So that's kind of how you'll be, the materials that you need for this class. If you have any questions at all, please make sure that you click on inbox on Canvas and send me a message. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. You can email as well. I do check my email all the time. My Canvas messages go right to my phone as well as these email messages too. So either one is fine. You can also call me and but make sure you leave a message. Otherwise, I will not get that, because I really only get the transcript of the message that's left. So make sure you speak clearly if you are going to leave a voicemail. But the best way to contact me is using this inbox function on Canvas. I do have office hours. Those office hours are for all of the courses I'm teaching this quarter. So it's possible you would have to wait a little bit in the waiting room before you're admitted to my office hours, but not always. So please make sure you log into Zoom Mondays and Wednesdays, 11 to 12, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10:30 to 12, if you have any questions or want clarification on anything. If those timeframes don't work for you, please make sure you email and ask a different time. I am available quite a lot of the time during the day and also into the evening. So if you work during the day and you have evenings off and you do your work at like 10 p.m. or something, I'm usually awake and I can help you with that. Okay. So the way that you'll find the week's information is through pages. So every week, this starting page, this home page will change, but you can get to all of those pages by clicking on pages and clicking see all pages. So our first week here, you can see what our topic is. You see that some of the things that I'd like you to do here, you're watching the welcome video, so you found it. You are starting to do assignment number 1. And then you will also take notes on some of these topics here that are listed from this video. You'll also work through this lesson here, which is an interactive lesson. Then participate in the discussion board, do the COVID Crush Lab, and then you'll take quiz week 1. This is all on by Tuesday, the 22nd of September. So you need to participate in the discussion, do these things, watch this video and do these lessons, taking notes, do the COVID Crush Lab, and then do the quiz. The quiz will be questions about the material that's in the video and the interactive trophic cascades lesson, as well as could be from the discussion board topics and the lab. So every single week, you will have the same setup. So we can look at the week 2 pages if you like, and hopefully you can see how I'm navigating that. You see that there's these at-home assignments. There's a worksheet here to help look for information in PowerPoints. I've recorded a lecture video about that PowerPoint. So if you like to listen to things and watch things rather than just read through, it's there for you. Same thing with plant nutrition. There's another informational video about water potential that I did not create, but has good information. And then some other videos as well. You'll take notes on this. There's a tutorial from your textbook. And then here's your assignments: discussion board, lab, and quiz. So every single week, you'll notice that if you click on the assignments button, and we show it by date, you can see discussion, lab, quiz, discussion, lab, quiz, discussion, lab, quiz. Everything's on there, and it's the same every week, so you know exactly what to expect and you know what you need to do for that. You can also get to your quizzes and your discussions on the side over here too, really easily though, through your assignments button on the left. You can reach your grades here. You can also email other people in your class if you want to bounce ideas off each other or work with each other, but make sure you do your own work. The Office 365 is tools that you will need to be able to use. So you need to be able to use Word and PowerPoint. So Word and PowerPoint will help you to be able to read the documents I have for you, help you to edit them, and then upload them to the assignments. Just a couple of other things here for the sake of going over the syllabus. We have the Student Code of Conduct, which you must abide by, which includes not cheating or plagiarizing. And so that one is a challenge sometimes because, you know, I know you want to do well, you want to do the best, get the best grade you can. The very best for you is to learn the material yourself. So please make sure that you're not cheating on your quizzes and your tests and on your assignments. I understand you'll be using, they're all open note, open book, because that's what the nature of online learning provides us. Make sure that you provide the references and the citations for where you got your information. And it doesn't, I don't expect you to do APA or MLA formatting. I just need to know the URL and the name of the web page that you got your information from. I'll give you a warning if I feel like, gosh, this doesn't sound like your voice. Is this someone else's voice? Please give me the reference for where you got this material. Just be careful of that in the discussion board mainly. That's the main place where you need to be careful of doing this. If you need help with Canvas, please make sure you contact the STAT team. The STAT team contacts can be under student support here. So you'll see Student Technology Assistant Team. That's where you find information about how to use Canvas, how to do Microsoft 365 as well. There are tutoring services, virtual tutoring as well. We don't have a dedicated tutor or an SI as far as I know. So there are people though in the tutoring center that are able to help you with your content, but please make sure you just utilize my office hours. I'm happy to explain anything that you might need help with, or give you other resources to explain something differently. If you require access and disability services, please make sure you get those forms in as soon as possible so that I can make those accommodations for you. If it has to do with extra time on quizzes and things like that, then I really need to know that as soon as possible, please. I do round up for grading, so 94.5% is a 4.0. I'm happy to award as many 4.0s as possible. So I don't have this like it's perfect bell curve that I feel like I need to follow. So if everyone is earning 95%, then that's what you get. So hopefully you'll strive for that, and it is something that is definitely doable in this class. I do not take attendance for this course. We don't have any regular scheduled quarterly or weekly class periods, so there's no attendance here, but please make sure that you take everything by its due date. I will possibly change or reduce your score if you have to take an exam other than the due date time, because it just isn't fair. But I do give you a pretty good range of dates things are. Okay, there we go. You know what to expect every single week. And so really there isn't much of an excuse. You only have one exam. You have one comprehensive exam at the end of the quarter. So you'll see that here. You don't have other exams. So you have your weekly quizzes, you have your weekly discussion boards, and your weekly labs. You want to make sure you're taking notes. You want to make sure that you're keeping good track of what you're learning. There is a study guide for your final exam. It's already posted in Canvas. So if you were to go to the last page, so we're viewing all pages here, and you go to the very last week 12 page, there's a study guide for your final exam. I suggest that you print this off or have this available to you so that you can fill it out as you're going along throughout the quarter. This study guide is broken down by all of the topics that you were studying. So you'll know that you need to look for these topics and these pieces of information while you're in that section. So I suggest that you have this available to you and you fill it out as you're going throughout the quarter. Again, that is in the week 12 final exam info and study guide module or page. Okay, finally, there's one other assignment that is which is a quarter-long assignment. Oh, sorry, I'll go back to the syllabus here. You'll see that you have lab assignments, quizzes, discussions, and then you have that final that I talked about, which is comprehensive, and then you have this plant growth paper. So this plant growth paper is related to designing, performing, and interpreting the results of an experiment that pertains to plant function, development, or growth. And then there's another one in here that has to do with an experiment regarding design experiments that can distinguish between interactions. And so your plant growth paper is intended to do that. So I can click on that plant growth project. This is the assignment that's due. All of this information that's written here is also in this Word document. So you can get that in a printable format if you prefer. What you're going to do is plant some plants at home, get them to grow, and you'll be studying some sort of interaction. That interaction might be two different species that are competing for resources in a pot. So you might decide to plant 2 different kinds of plants in a pot, and then you would plant those 2 plants individually. So you plant them by themselves. That way you can see if growth changes when the 2 are competing for resources. You could also turn that into a cooperation type of interaction as well. So you may have heard of planting plants near other plants to help them grow. And so we call this companion planting. So if we're looking at companions, we're expecting that when those are planted together, they grow better. They're meaning that they're taller, they produce more leaves, they have a greener color than when they're by themselves. So you have to set up a controlled experiment that is looking at plant competition versus or plant cooperation. You can also do intraspecific competition, meaning that you want to see if plants can grow by others that are like them. So you maybe will choose one type of plant and you'll plant them in a big group in one pot. Then you plant them in a little smaller group and then maybe plant them by themselves. And so you can see their growth pattern over time. My dog. You can see their growth pattern over time, whether they're by themselves or in a group. And so you'll notice that on the seed packets or instructions for growing things, sometimes it tells you to plant them pretty far apart from one another. And maybe this is why. So you are choosing some plants that can grow quickly. So some like herbs grow pretty quickly, radishes grow very quickly, squash and beans grow pretty quickly. Those sorts of plants grow pretty fast. You don't want to try to plant a pine nut or something that's going to grow into a tree instead. Something that grows really slow is not a good choice for this project. I can help you with plant choices as well. You may want to hurry and get some seeds because pretty soon the seeds are going to not be in the stores. So if you need help finding seeds, we can send you some seeds from our biology department. I will need your address, your complete address, and we'll send you some seeds if you want. If you're growing plants from seed, you need to soak them in a paper towel, a wet paper towel, at least overnight, sometimes 48 hours. You need to keep them nice and wet and dark so they think they're in the soil and so that their seed coats can break and they can start to grow. Okay, that's the start of starting to grow them. Then you also want to make sure that you don't plant them too deep. So if they can't get to the surface very easily, then they're going to have a hard time growing, and that might actually prevent them from growing. So you want to keep them up toward the surface of the soil, give them plenty of water, put them in a warm environment, not too cold, and hopefully you'll have fun growing plants. Some of you, it may be your first time, and that's okay. So make sure that you're doing some sort of recording of quantitative data, also qualitative data, so describing the plants as well. You can see that there is, it's almost like a scientific paper that you'll be writing. So you have some background information, you have your question, your hypothesis, materials and methods, results, discussion, and at least 3 references. So there is a rubric here on Canvas as well, and I hope you enjoy this project. I think it's a fun one and most people have a good time with it. So welcome to plant biology. I'm so glad that you're taking this class, and I really have a goal of every student of mine going outside and being able to say, oh, darn, I know so much about what's around me now. That's all I can think about. Like, oh, there's an angiosperm. Oh, look at what kind of cone this is. Look at that evergreen tree. Oh, here's a monocot. Things like that. And you'll be surprised. You'll be doing that by the end of the quarter. Have a wonderful time in this class. Enjoy it, and let me know if you have any needs or need any help.